GM Farcaster. It is Wednesday, July 17th, and you are here with Nownish Prof and guest co-host today, Toady Hawk.
Not Adrian.
AKA not Adrian, filling in for the Adrian, who is traveling again today. So excited to have you here. We're going to warn everybody. Toady may have to go off screen a couple times because his kiddo is close by, or if you hear Teddy in the background, you'll know why.
Every
But I
time
appreciate
we're
you.
supposed to co-host GM Farcaster, my daycare provider gets sick. I don't know what's going on.
I think it's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
I really do. I think there's something going on there. She does not want you co-hosting. I think that's it. So probably not. Probably has no idea what's happening. Hi, good morning. Good morning, Taddy. All right, well, let's dive in. We've got a few different things happening today. Your daily reminder. There are no, see, Taddy knows. There are no rewards for running a hub. Not now, not in the future. It will only cost you money. And what they have now done is when you upgrade your hub, you'll be prompted to acknowledge a message saying there are no rewards for running a hub. And this was from B. Over 10K people have been tricked into thinking into running hubs by YouTube videos promising fake rewards. This change will discourage those users from running hubs, which in turn will give us more headroom to scale. So this is causing a lot of problems on the network because you have sort of these excessive hubs running that aren't actually being very helpful. So don't do that. In other words, don't do that. And I did love this this meme as well. There are no economic rewards for running a hub, in case you needed another reminder. So don't do that, please, people. Also, moving on, improvements to search on Warpcast Web. Sort results by relevance or recency. Syntax to filter by user and channel, like from : at username and in : at slash channel. Advanced setting UI to configure filters easily. So I know some folks have mentioned they've been using the new search feature. It's working really well. So that's really good to hear because search has definitely been an issue. So I'm excited.
Unusable before.
Unusable. Like it had no point.
I was mostly using it to try to find my own casts, and it usually didn't work.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing. I could never find anything. So that's why I would bookmark and save certain things, but I knew I wanted to find again because there's no other way. Absolutely no other way. So this is a huge improvement. All these things that seem so small that we take for granted on other platforms become such a huge thing here. But you know, you're starting from the ground up. It's gonna happen. But good to see.
I once asked an app developer if they were going to be implementing search, and they were like, you know, search is like Google's whole thing, right? Like it's its own, it's a big deal. So
yeah,
making good search is difficult.
Yeah, you know, and you think about, you know, I actually remember the internet before Google. It was hard. It was like Farcaster before search.
Were you Ask Jeeves or Dogpile? Which
I used Yahoo. I think I used Yahoo pretty much. Yeah. I occasionally used Dogpile. I did use Ask Jeeves on occasion. Never found that one to be that helpful, to be honest. But I was just like a straight up Yahoo kind of person and would search on there. And it wasn't very helpful in Google.
Dogpile would have killed it in the crypto era. They were the aggregator.
True. Very true. Wait, wasn't Dogpile somebody from the crypto era? Was that that wasn't Kevin Rose, was it? It was somebody.
Kevin Rose in the Dig.
Dig. Okay. I'm getting confused. He was Dig. Never mind. I was like somebody in that era. But no. Another note from Dan, PSA, please only report casts with a bot replies before the show more replies above the fold. If the replies are already in show more, it means we've labeled the account as spammy. So this is good to know and good way to distinguish whether or not your replies are spammy.
I feel like this was a missed opportunity for Dan to post a pretty sick meme. I don't know. Like, or something like, thanks a lot. Yeah, that's a bot. Thanks. We got it.
Yeah, you could have tried harder there, Dan. I will say that I believe that the spam has gotten better. I think they're doing some good job filtering. So it does feel like I'm not seeing it as much. Kind of miss the nice bots, the ones who are very complimentary, but I'm happy that we're getting this under control. So this is good.
Yeah, there's nothing more genuine than when you get complimented the same way by 5 different synonyms,
Yes, it feels great. It feels very authentic. I said this before, but this happened when I think I was in the Nouns channel, and I said something, and then all of a sudden I got all these replies that were very nice and complimentary, and I'm like, okay, this have to be bots. Because no one's this complimentary in a DAO. It's way too nice and friendly.
We need to recode the bots for DAO. The DAO interactions.
Yeah, it was very easy to spot. They were way too nice. Very, very easy to spot. This from Dan, also improvement for Warpcast DCs. You can now attach a message when sharing a cast via direct cast. You'll also be able to send the same cast message to multiple people and groups. The button will say send separately to indicate live on web and mobile. So this is helpful if you're, sending something along and you want to explain why exactly you're sending this thing. Also will be helpful when you send it to the wrong group chat. At least they'll understand that it was not meant for them, which also happens quite a bit, but not as much as it used to. So that's good. This from Horsefacts. We revised the draft composer action spec after implementing the first prototypes. The main change is using post message for from to client communication, and we've also added a more detailed text spec, and you can see the full notion here. So if you are a dev and have some feedback on this, or want to learn more, check that out. Moving on to other news beyond Merkle. This is from Jacek. We've made a degen bridge claim form for those who lost funds, bridging from degen chain to base. Bridging should be one-to-one, so gather your transaction hashes and amounts to get refunded. Sorry for the hassle. Your funds shouldn't be lost over simple bridging. So there was a big problem with degen. They've had a couple issues, but this was fairly recent, and a lot of people lost funds in bridging. And Jacek had also posted something yesterday about how they are dealing with the various vendors who've been involved that have caused the issue. So
and it was pretty spicy. I think you could really tell that Jacek was at the end of his rope with frustration with that thread, and rightly so. I mean, it's there's nothing worse than when you're relying on service providers, that are supposed to make things easier, right? Because he could have spun up his own chain, but he didn't.
Right, exactly.
Harder.
Yes, yeah. Taddy agrees. He's frustrated as well. He lost some degen in the bridging.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's going to be the native. Yeah, he just sounds like he's having fun back there. He's going to be like a native crypto boy, which is kind of cool.
Native.
He had a wallet the first day he was born, for God's sake. So it's pretty impressive.
You've heard of Jen Nauner. This is Jen Nauner. It's the next generation.
Jen Nauner. It's the next iteration. Hey, this from Toady Hawk. Speaking of various problems, this was a be very wary of the DMs. People are starting to use them to drop various like frames and links and things like that. So be careful. This is not real. Where if you get an airdrop message in your DMs, and I would say that for any airdrop in your DMs, chances are it is fake. So there's also been one going around for Moxie that is also fake. So be very wary. Make sure you're checking the real accounts. Thanks for sharing that, Toady. That was helpful. I hadn't seen that one yet, so I guess they hadn't hit me with that in the DMs yet. So
they did a lot of things right. So it definitely, first of all, it did end up in my spam messages.
Oh, that's good.
Warpcast
did
its from that perspective. But yeah, I mean, dgm.pm. So it's obviously not the correct URL, but not that far off either. And I'm pretty sure there is an account called what's the account called? DGen bot or something. And there is a bot very similar name that replies to you when you've tipped. So I could see people being duped by this. So you got to be.
Yeah, they could think it's just that bot that I follow that reminds me of how much I have left to tip for the day or something. So yeah, be wary. Be wary of anybody claiming to want to give you money.
Sometimes it's true.
Sometimes it's true, but just double check before you connect. This was from Dan, kind of talking about reverse chronological feed. I want reverse chronological feed. We are focused at try one of these 5 apps. You'll also help the ecosystem by growing other clients. I want reverse chronological feed. So if you're looking for reverse chronological feed, try out Supercast, HeroCast, Butterfly, Recast, .fc, and I think there's one more. So the funnier part is that Random Arrow did comment, have we tried banning them yet? And Dan replied, I keep telling them to stop using Warpcast, but they don't listen. So I think this has been the first incident of Dan replying to Ran. So that was amazing. But I did love this meme.
Is Random Arrow the same? Do we know if Random Arrow is the same person as the other parody account?
No, they're not. They're not the same. They're definitely different.
Dana Pompello.
Yeah, Dana Pompello has a little bit more of an edge.
Random Arrow is a hilarious name, though, especially with the @
Random Arrow. Yeah. Random Arrow. I believe that so Random Arrow, we have had communication in the DCs, and they may come on here at some point. I believe they are friendly to Warpcast and RNOG. So I think they are a known person, just having some fun. Where I think that Dana Pompello is a little bit edgier, can be a little bit on the mean side. And also we saw Ted get an alt recently as well, and that one's a little, I don't know yet. I'm not sure if it's friend or foe at the moment, but this was last night actually. Random Arrow taking over FC unhinged Ted's alt. Yeah, that was accurate, Alina, very accurate. Well done with the meme. So yeah, this is it's fun. I hope people keep it fun. I feel like as soon as it turns to the mean side, we lose you lose me. So keep it fun.
What's the Ted satirical one? I'm asking for a friend.
It's Ted's alt. It's called Ted's alt. I'd rather, you can go check it out yourself.
I thought of a better name, to be honest. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah, it's a little boring. But it's a little spicy. It's a little spicy. So go check it out yourself. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Ted's alt. I am a big fan of Random Arrow. I do think it's funny. And I loved this from Steve. What's one feature you'd like to add on Warpcast this week? Go use another client. I thought this is a great meme. So this actually is on our cover as well. So
great Photoshop skills as well. You got to give credit where credit's due.
It was fantastic. Could have been a little better. We could have cut that little face out a little better. But not bad. And then moving on, we've got this from Galazio. Galazio has been doing Galazio's Kitchen, and she's been doing like these little mini 5-minute cooking shows where she's making different dishes, and now she put them in a frame. So use Ninar no-code Frame Studio to create an archive of all Galazio Kitchen episodes that can be accessed in my channel. It was really fun to make. I'll keep adding to the frame as I share more episodes. And here is the frame, and it's fantastic. So it's a lot of fun. It has the image of what she made and then links back to the cast where you can actually see the episode in the food channel, I believe is where she has them. Or maybe she has them in Galazio now. It's not coming up for me because of course it's not when I need it to. But it's really well done. I do love the Nina Frame Studio. I think it's a huge unlock, and we did have our intern creating one for us. We're doing some tweaks to it, and it'll be out shortly with all our links to all our socials. And I think there's a lot of different options for this. It's fantastic. So go check it out.
The new
And well done,
generation,
Sebastian.
they just come out of the womb already knowing how to use Nanar frames.
Exactly. That's going to be the next generation. It's generation down, right? Same thing. But yeah, it's really well done. You can see like watch episode will bring you to the link of the cast, and next episode shows you the next one. It's pretty cool and very well. I love the images as well. Very well done. Speaking of really cool frames, this is from Matt Kim, and it incorporates a live stream where you can mint animals that are spotted. And I minted a Heartbeast on Farcaster, and proceeds go to Namib Desert Conservation. And let's hope it will work for me right now, but it's pretty cool. So it kind of does this refresh, almost like animal live stream cams that you see, like people will have them outside their house or something to capture like random fox walking by. It's like that, but in the desert. It's pretty at this watering hole, and it's pretty cool. Of course, it's not going to come up when I need it to, but it's really cool.
Can I just say that Heartbeast sounds like the next hit show on Unlonely?
It really does. I think that might be our next show. It might be the next show we do. So this is from Matt Kim, introducing Farcaster, live stream the Namib Desert inside a Farcaster frame. Encounter a wild animal to mint a personalized NFT on base. Touch grass, sand directly on Warpcast and with other fauna watchers. And it will tell you who's, it's not coming up for me right now, but it will tell you who's watching as well. And if you're the first one who spots an animal, you get to mint it. So it's pretty cool. And there was a really funny thing too, where it said, there's no animals. Oh, here it is. No animals here. Maybe Dan told them to go home. I just thought that was funny. So it has these little messages that'll pop up as well while you're watching. So
this week for based builders, it'll be this week. I watched giraffes for
I watched
in a frame.
I watched giraffes in a frame. And it was cool. It is really cool. So go check it out. It's not refreshing for me at the moment, but I do think I'm really excited for what this might mean for live streaming within a frame. So I might have a little, invested in something like that. So that would be fantastic. But it's really cool. So go check that out. Matcha introduced the V2 pricing engine. So introducing Matcha on 0x V2 powered by 0x Project's new 0x V2 pricing engine. The best swap prices all in, especially in size, genius trade route, next gen security that keeps funds safe. And you can learn more there, but also on Friday, today is Wednesday, we will have Will Warren with us, co-founder of Matcha and 0x Project. And we're going to be on at noon. So go check that out. And we'll be asking lots of questions about their new V2 pricing engine. So if you have questions, go drop them here. We did get already a question from Linda, who happens to be Will's wife. So at Linda from Bountycaster is married to Will, and she already gave us a question. So go get your questions in. And Tody, you had interviewed the other co-founder a while back on ZeroPod. And is there anything that you asked him or didn't get to ask him that you think we should ask Will?
I think we covered a lot. So that was Amir Bandiali, one of the two co-founders of 0x that I had on ZeroPod episode 28, I think it was. Check it out at zeropod.xyz if you missed it. It was a good episode. A little bit funny though. He joined from a bedroom, and his cat was roaming around in the background. So it was pretty hilarious that a few times in the podcast the cat jumped into frame, or at one particular time it literally jumped on his desk, and there was a huge crash. So there was definitely some bloopers, but it was overall it was a great interview. He's like an OG, right? He's been working for a very long time. 0x has been a huge player in the space, an innovator in the space. Matcha's awesome. I love using it. It's great for saving funds on swaps. So I love what they're doing. And yeah, I mean, we asked a pretty wide variety of questions, so I'll try to think of any that I maybe didn't get to and send you a DM if I
that'd be great.
any. We talked about the history of Zero X and Matcha. We talked about Farcaster and base and everything in between. We talked about nouns because he's a nouner as well. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Mir is
which one?
OG nouner. I don't know which one he has offhand, but yeah, he's got one that he's.
I mean, I had to know that was going to be my next question, and you didn't know the answer. Come on,
yeah.
Come on, Tody.
I did know, but I forget. But anyway, yeah. So
that's really cool. I didn't know.
We talked about esports as well because in addition to partnering with you guys, they're also doing a partnership with esports and the Noun Square, and so we talked a lot about that and how that's going. They sponsored the Matcha Cup, which is a tournament that esports ran. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff.
That is very cool, and I think they have a few other things planned with the Noun Esports team. I know that are coming up that they're working on, and it's kind of exciting to see that combo.
It was like a 3-month trial, and they're really happy with everything. And so I think don't want to spoil anything, but I think the next 6 months we'll see lots of new stuff, collaborations between Nouns Esports and the Noun Square and Matcha. So yeah.
I suggested to Sasquatch that we should have like a Beat the Pro kind of competition. Would be really fun. Well, I think a lot of people would get into that. So
that is happening. Well, okay, so I can share this already. So I just ordered a few things on Amazon for Prime that are coming their way, which will allow me to play Smash Bros. Melee. So
all right,
I'm going to be trained by their number one Melee player over the course of several months. And Jack Wilds, who's also on our video team at the Down Square, will be trained by Aklo, one of their other players who's really great at Smash. And then we're going to be playing each other live in November.
That's awesome.
Sports events. So we'll see how good I can get with the number one Smash player in the world training me. And I've never really played before. Maybe a couple times at a party. It's never been my game.
Has Jack played? Does he have any experience?
Played more than I have, so he's got a definite knowledge for sure. And I think he also has probably smaller thumbs, but we'll see.
However, what he does not have is the Toady Hawk dedication.
Yeah,
that will be somebody who will play Speed Tracer 158 times just to win.
I don't like not being good at things. I don't like losing, so I'll be the first to admit I have a competitiveness problem. So we'll see. Hopefully, I pray for patience though for my coach, and hopefully he'll be able to take me through Valhalla. We'll see. But that'll be fun. So that's going to be all those training sessions are going to be streamed here on Unlonely on the new esports channel that they're launching. So pretty fun.
That's awesome. I love it. It's so fun. I love what Macho's been doing in terms of really diving into our ecosystem here, and I appreciate them. And we're looking forward to talking with Will. I think it's going to be a good combo.
The show is going to be called Cody and Toady, by the way, which is pretty fun.
Ooh, okay. All right. It totally feels like a Nickelodeon teen show from like the 1990s. And
maybe it will be. Maybe it will.
Cody and Zach. That's what I'm thinking of.
No, this is way different. Okay, this is good.
I hope so.
Games.
Moving on, we have this news from Polymarket. This is really exciting, to be honest. I don't know if you know who Nate Silver is. I know you do, Toady, but for those who may not know who Nate Silver is, he's like the king of polls in terms of politics, and 538 has been like sort of the go-to for polling data, and he is joining as an advisor to Polymarket. So really kind of giving a lot of legitimacy to what they're doing there. And that's pretty exciting. It's been really interesting to see what Polymarket is doing, even though I can't use them. But I got into a little bit of a dust up yesterday, but anyway, so I feel like the energy on Farcaster has moved a little bit. It's getting a little crazier as the political climate gets a little crazier. So I'll be starting to remove myself from various politics channels and using the mute feature when needed. Just for my own sanity. But it is really interesting to see this, and I think it bodes well for what Polymarket's doing. And yeah, they're definitely getting more legitimacy as they go on. So it's pretty cool. And it must be it's all the intern's fault. This from Mazum Hussein, if it will come up. He did a crowdfunding for a little bit of crowdfunding. He didn't really do crowdfunding. It just turned into that. Oh, come on. Come on, Warpcast. Open for me.
I think I was the first person to donate warps to the cause. And
I think you were. I think you were. So I can't get the cast to come up. But he said, as soon as I get enough warps, I'm going to start a channel that will focus on global news. And he had the warps like probably within, less than an hour. I don't even know if it took that long. I donated warps. And then, I mean, people were just tipping and sending him funds. And it was I don't think he expected that response. And it was great to see. So he has started a new global news channel on Warpcast, where he's hoping to bring in more, some other high profile, really well-known journalists to be sort of sharing their research and investigative reporting, which I think is incredibly cool. So
I really enjoyed having his presence on the app. It's nice to have. That's the one thing I missed, when everything happened, obviously with the Trump shooting and whatnot last week. It's one thing that sort of reinforced that, unfortunately, Twitter still has the monopoly on that, like sort of news first sort of thing, and just by sheer numbers, right? And so it was hard to keep up to date on stuff on Farcaster, and I think we need more, less of some things where that's concerned, but more of just like being able to tap in and see what's happening in the world. And better if it's really great, thoughtful journalists like Murtaza. He's been impressing me a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And it also very respectful dialogue is helpful too. Yeah. And that's pretty much what I've seen with him and others who are chatting with him back and forth. And I think that's what often gets lost on Twitter.
He's also very open-minded, which was great to see too. Like people were like, "Oh, don't go spouting DGen nonsense to this guy. We've got a real serious person on our app." And he's like, "Hey, I fucking love DGen. Like this is great. This is the exact reason why crypto is powerful. It aligns incentives. Anyway, it was really cool to see that he really groks why crypto is powerful in a lot of ways."
Yeah, he totally got it, and it was funny. We're all like, "Okay, quick." Be serious. We got a serious journalist here now. And he was like, no. I'm gonna figure out your culture. I'm good. Like, don't have to be fancy for me. Which I thought was great. And seeing him like, get that people were going to jump in and help and wanted to encourage him starting a channel. I think that was a huge moment that I think had a big impact. So I appreciate everybody jumping in.
Also a message to other people who are not on the app yet, or maybe they are and they're not active. And it just goes to show that if you are, a quality, a QDAO, if you really are a QDAO and you have something interesting to share from your perspective, the network is hungry for it and like willing to reward it with, engagement and even, funds in this case to see more of it. So hopefully people take that sign and get more active if they're, who knows if they're a fitness blogger or like if they're just anything that's not crypto, we're hungry for that content too,
And I've had this thought about, I have a really good friend who's a stand-up comedian. I've been debating this and trying to figure out, should I make this effort? She's not in crypto at all. Try to get her on the platform. It's, there's something to be said about if you're first or early and no one else is doing, there's a huge opportunity there, but it's also a lot of work. And trying to figure out like how do we encourage that is challenging, but it's definitely something that I love seeing. I was also had 2 interviews this week with people who are doing art pieces for us for Here for the Art. You're going to see Brian Morris's tomorrow and then Renee Campbell in a couple weeks. And what was interesting talking with both of them is, that same kind of feel, like they both have, came into Farcaster and then really dove in and became part of the community, and just that approach and how much they've gotten from that, and that other, encouraging other artists or helping them find their way within the Farcaster community is something, they've done. And I think that's also another thing we need to be encouraging and getting more artists on board. And I know that's something Yellow does amazingly well. So appreciate that for sure. Want to share this from DeWoofy, and then one more thing before we close. This was from DeWoofy, post-profile review, mega thread on learnings, almost 70 profiles reviewed, ranging in follower count from double to 6 digits. Feedback has officially been sent to everyone who requested it, except for a few very niche cases. Everyone's feedback fit into one of 9 broad categories. It is a long thread. Go check it out. This is the first time DeWoofy actually got me some rewards on Scoop because of this cast. So go check it out. But it's really interesting. A lot of good learning in here. And DeWoofy, well done. Thank you for sharing that. And lastly, and
Scoop.
say that again.
Did you ever figure out how to make some money on Scoop?
No, not at all. I can't figure it out. And also, I'm making no money off Toady. And I'm like, this does not make sense. How is that possible? So something I feel like is wrong with the algo. Like it can't be.
My ship has sailed. You got to sell me and move on.
I know. I'm like, I'm going to have to sell him. This is ridiculous. But nobody's making me money. It was like V and Ted, and that's it. DeWoofy is spamming me with "You're welcome." I can't pull up. This is making me crazy, but this cast will not come up. But I wanted to share very briefly. Yellow Collective sent Jer, Seattle Crypto, to Miami, and he wore these amazing noggles. This cast will be in our show notes. I cannot get it to show on the screen. It's making me nuts. But it's amazing. And it was such a cool, like, sort of crowdfund, if you will, with Yellow sort of supporting this trip for him to go to the Copa America. And he had started Copa Downs recently. Yeah. It's all soccer related, and it was really cool. So I thought that was an amazing.
It was a retro reward too. So I mean, instead of just giving him ETH, which is what we did, as a reward for essentially forking the Yellow repo and creating a new project called Copa Nouns, which was like a nouns fork on base centered around soccer. And we thought, well, it'd be kind of cool. I actually saw him post on the timeline saying that he wanted to go to the final and that he was going to be in Miami, but the tickets were like $1,200. So just, maybe not. And I was like, hey, maybe we can make it happen. So it was cool. We did a quick proposal for the grant, and Yellow came through, and like 95% of the collective voted to send him. And I think he had a really good time. So, and he was wearing the noggles the whole time. So that was cool.
And what I loved was that you used a frame for voting. It happened very quickly. A lot of it was being discussed in the DCs. So a lot of this happened all on Warpcast rather than going through a much longer process to be able to turn it around quickly and get him there. So definitely take a look at that cast. It will be in our show notes. It's not coming up right now, but it was really cool. Or just go into the Yellow /Yellow channel and you can see that sort of
somebody asked in the group chats. They were like, "Oh, what if someone's in Yellow and they're not on Farcaster? How will they vote on this?" I'm like, we have 120 members in this group chat. Of like 130 token holders are in this group chat.
Yeah.
So we are really, really Farcaster native, and so yeah, it's cool to be able to.
You're gonna have to go pick that up. It's like,
anyway, it was cool, and I hope Jared had a good time.
It looked amazing. I'm sorry I can't show it on the screen at this moment. I don't know. Warpcast was just done with me today. Or my browser. My browser is finally like, no more. No more links. You're done. So with that, we're going to close right there. Again, on Friday, we'll be back. Adrian will be back on Friday. And we do have Will Warren joining us at noon Eastern, co-founder of Matcha and 0x project. And I'm really excited to learn more about the pricing engine, the new pricing engine. So with that, we will see you on Friday. And with that, bye-bye. Thank you so much, Toady. And Toady will be filling in for a couple more Wednesdays coming up next week, I believe. And then not the week after, but the week after that. And also,
if my daycare is closed next Wednesday, then we know it's a conspiracy.
You will know it's a conspiracy, and they just hate me, and that's what it comes down to. So hopefully but you know what? Taddy did great. He was a great co-host. He was pretty chill, So thanks, Taddy. Thanks, Toady, and we will see you Friday. Bye-bye.